All right, so I think it's episode 5. We're going with episode 5.
Yeah, I think so.
Of our podcast vlog, which can be seen on TrainSmart 585, our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So today we got Josh Best. I'm Jay Verna, fitness specialist for the town of Webster, along with Dr. Mike Stewart, physical therapist with Genesee Valley PT. We got 3 questions that we've got over the last couple weeks. It's actually our first one of the year, isn't it?
It is the first one of the new year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All right. So first question: what is or when is protein supplement necessary? And they also asked, when should I take it if I'm going to take it, and what is the best kind to use?
All right.
So you're the nutrition guy.
Yeah. So when is it necessary? Supplementation is never necessary. So I think, to me, that question is more of timing of protein intake.
Yep.
I'm assuming this probably came from like a post-workout situation.
Someone in the gym. Yep.
Okay. So, there's a lot of myths surrounding, as soon as I'm done lifting, 7.5 minutes, I got to get it in. So it's really not quite as crazy as that. So if you eat a meal within an hour or two of some kind of intense resistance training, or really any type of intense training, you're going to be fine. The first thing I would say is learn how to eat properly. So in other words, have meals pre-prepped. This is kind of a whole other topic conversation. We could probably spend hours talking about that. So, but the main idea is to get some kind of balanced meal in with some protein in it. Probably anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours post-workout. So your muscles aren't going to shrivel up if you don't get it in right away. For those of us that have a hard time prepping food or understanding what good food is to eat, that's where maybe a protein supplement would come into play.
Or certain food allergies or other things that might be going on medically. Sometimes a nutritionist will say take some protein supplementation. Yeah. Or if you're on a specific diet, like vegan diets and stuff, and you're not getting enough protein, or they're finding that in your blood panels or anything, then they might suggest taking a supplement.
Yeah. And it is easier. I mean, it's something that you can put in one of those shaker bottles. Just put in a couple scoops of the powder or whatever the serving size recommendation is. It could be simple as putting some water in there and then, taking it post-workout. But as far as what the best is, there's so many different
food.
Yeah. Well, food is the best. But if you're going the protein powder route as a supplementation, I would say first and foremost, look with something with minimal ingredients. It doesn't have a whole lot of fillers and unpronounceable names in it. You're going to pay money for a good high-quality protein. There's some different guidelines that you can go by. In fact, one thing that I would suggest for those of you who like to get on the internet and do some research on your own, go to examine.com. They have a whole really good section on protein supplements, what to look for in terms of amino acid profile. So you can certainly do yourself a favor and increase your own knowledge by going places like that. Labdoor.com is another good one too, and they'll actually rate all the different supplements based on a variety of different variables. So purity, a whole number of those too. So those are 2 good resources you can look at on your own. The bottom line is find something that you can digest good and that's not going to cause you any kind of stomach upset. And that's also affordable too, because you can spend $60-$70 for that'll last you maybe a month. So the good thing with that is that if it's too expensive for you, maybe it'll kind of push you in towards learning how to prepare meals and eating more whole food for your protein sources than working on supplements. So find something that's certainly affordable, has a good balanced amino acid profile. And again, examine.com, labdoor.com are 2 really good places to kind of get some ideas of what those are. Was that another part of the question?
I just want to say they're not all created equal.
No.
Like sometimes you got to pay for the good stuff, and some of them might upset your stomach. And there's different types. There's whey protein, there's soy protein.
Yeah.
There's all plant-based proteins and all that now too.
There's some that are more vegan. So really kind of, you might have to experiment a little bit. Some people tend to have a little bit of stomach upset with more of a casein. So maybe going with more of a pure whey protein powder might be a good place to start. But again, if you're having a hard time finding one, examine.com, labdoor.com, learnhowtoeatright.com. So
I'm pretty sure Josh just blends raw chicken in a blender and
Yeah,
cooks it afterwards.
That's all you need.
By the way, that last website I just made up, that's really no such thing.
That's
Yeah. I might actually make that.
There you go.
All right, what's the next one?
All right, this one's going at Josh. Josh, what is the frequency of ab training? Is it okay to do every single day, or should I be spacing it out more often? What do you think?
All right, abdominal training. You go, you know what? You could probably throw in some lower level, abdominal work on a daily basis, whether it's working on bird dog progressions, dead bugs.
What's a bird dog? Oh, go to was it TrainSmart 585?
Yeah.
We have that.
Oh,
yeah,
exercise
check it
out
out.
there.
Yeah.
So maybe some like diaphragmatic breathing, because that's part of your core. Those things that definitely.
Yeah.
Right?
On your main lifting days, if you're throwing in whether it's rollouts, stability ball, which are also on the YouTube channel. We got a few guys demonstrating them. But save the bigger stuff for when you're in the gym training. If you just want to work on overall core control, using our abdominals, you can throw in those at home, before work, after work. But something that you don't need a lot of equipment. That's also not too intense, to recover from. And then save the big stuff for the training days.
It's a muscle, right? So your core, your abs, it's a muscle. So you wouldn't do bicep curls every single day under a heavy load, So you got to make sure you have rest days for your abs, just like any other muscle.
Yeah. So if you think about it, like Mike just said, and I'm assuming we're referring to those muscles, the six-pack muscles that people are talking about. They are going to, they're muscles just like any other muscle. So you can overtrain them. You can cause a lot of muscle soreness. The other thing to look at when it comes to ab training, though, is, and Josh certainly hit it on the head pretty well, is what is your goal for that? I think if you're looking like diaphragmatic breathing, things to add a little bit more stability and tension here that can allow you to move better, whether it's through your shoulders or your hips, to prepare yourself for the big movements of squats, deadlifts, or whatever it is you're going to be doing in terms of your weightlifting. The other thing too is incorporating exercises that don't put a ton of stress on the lower part of the spine. So minimizing, and I say minimizing, not eliminating, excessive rounding, arching, side bending, and rotation through the lower part of our spine, I think is probably going to maximize the benefit and reduce the chance of injury. So as we've been kind of shamelessly plugging on we have a ton of videos on a lot of these different ones, and we're going to be adding more on our TrainSmart 585 channel.
And if there's something you want to see that's not up there, let us know.
Yeah.
So definitely.
So definitely you can do something every day. Just maybe stay away from hammering crunches and the weighted sit-ups and all that type of thing.
And bracing and proper breathing as a core workout you should be doing when you're lifting, no matter what body part you're doing. So that's great to do every day.
And the other thing too is if you really learn how to, like Mike said, brace and be able to breathe and maintain that while you're doing those big lifts or just lifting in general, you're getting a really good training stimulus to those muscles. Because if we think about it, all those muscles that comprise our core around our spine are there to stabilize our spine, to kind of protect it, and also transfer force from the ground to our upper extremities when we're doing, sporting type activities, swinging the golf club, a baseball bat, those type of things. So I think thinking about it less from an aesthetic point, and what can I do to kind of get this to look a certain way, to thinking more, well, what can I do to learn how to brace, stabilize my spine, keep it healthy, and then also increase my performance in doing all these other things. So
yeah, it's definitely a question for another day. Like, why is that so important when we're not, just targeting that when we're trying to move? But we'll say that for another podcast or blog or whatever it's called.
Episode 5.
Yeah. So I got a question the other day. So the question the other day was, my doctor diagnosed me with a rotator cuff tear, and then suggested that I go to physical therapy. So is physical therapy going to do anything to actually help my tear, or is it going to make it worse, or is it going to help at all? So I guess I'll take that one. So
I was hoping
So
I guess you could take it.
So that's typical course of treatment. So when someone goes in, he's maybe their physician, and they diagnose them with a potential rotator cuff tear, and they had an MRI to confirm that, they typically will send them to physical therapy, because if we look at the research behind treating it conservatively, up to and more than 70% of people, depending on where you're looking, respond really well to conservative treatment and get back to doing whatever they want to do, or full function, we call it. So, what we can do is we can improve the range of motion of their stiffness, and we can improve some of the muscles that help support the rotator cuff, and we can work on where the weaknesses are so that you can gain that full function back, and you might not need surgery. And that's kind of everybody's goal. We try and be as conservative as possible without having to go under the knife to fix the issue. So if you are diagnosed with a rotator cuff tear, that's tough to say. Rotator cuff tear. Physical therapy is a great first option, and we'll know then usually like the first 4 to 6 weeks at most, 4 to 6 visits even, if you're going to respond well to conservative treatment. If you're not, we can get you in touch with the right people, but it's definitely worth a shot if 70% of the people are going to get better from it. So I will throw in another shameless plug because we're doing a talk on rotator cuff injuries as a company, Genesee Valley Physical Therapy, at the JCC, the Jewish Community Center, down in, I think it's Brighton.
It's Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton, right? Dr. Matthew Bissett, he's going to be presenting an orthopedic surgeon standpoint behind rotator cuff tears and what they are and kind of, where it starts and where it ends with surgery, followed by one of the clinicians on our team going to be talking about how we treat it in physical therapy conservatively if there is a tear. So that is on the 24th at the JCC, 6:30 to 8:30. Just give our office a call to reserve a spot. It's free. So.
That's a good deal. Yeah, it's a Wednesday, right?
I believe it is. So we did one up here, and we did one at the Barrington Community Center as well. We had a ton of people come, great questions, and it really opened up the community's eyes to how we treat rotator cuff injuries, both surgically with the physician talking and then conservatively with physical therapy. So a lot of people ended up coming in after that and doing really well. So that's it.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode.
Yep.
So again, TrainSmart 585 is a YouTube channel. Check it out. We post these vlogs on there, and you can check out the past ones that we've done, where you have a growing database of exercises, and we're going to continue to add more. But certainly, if there's questions you'd like to see answered in these type of videos, as well as certain types of exercises you'd like to see, please post. Let us know. We'd like comments. We'd like to hear from you.
Or stop in and see.
Stop in and see us. We'd like to meet you. So, yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Have a good one.
Until next time.